Hello, hello. I'm not seeing anyone here. Maybe because we're like 2-3 minutes late. So I guess I'm gonna wait.
Dave is there.
Who's day? Six
Yeah, it says
people.
6 waiting.
Hold on. I think we're having like delays tonight because I had no one there, and then poof, so many comments. So hi, Dave. The salad I
Andy's
just
there.
ate from the. Ooh, nice.
Fresh greens. How lucky is he?
Well, if you have your grow lights, Tracy, and you have enough solar. Hello, Annie. I actually have two 10 by 20. You know those hold on, I'm just gonna change my
I could
screen
fix
so that
something here. Probably.
you know those 10 by 20
The trays?
yes, you can fill those with dirt and you can just sow like greens and like have microgreens, like those baby greens within depending of the variety 26 days to 42 days, and then harvest it, and then you can mix cilantro in there, basil in there. If you have leaf basil, that's actually fun because like it's a huge leaf of basil, but it looks like a salad leaf. Hello, Joam. And I leave my lights open from the time I get up to the time I go to bed. Like I don't calculate it as much as I do like when I'm actually like in full growing, where some like I think onions like need 12 hours or 14 hours, I can't remember. But they're like just greens, so they can deal with poor lighting. They can deal with window seal if it doesn't freeze around your window seal, and you can get salad greens within 3-4 weeks.
Wow. I need to start working on it. My greenhouse collapsed.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Is it broken?
I'm not sure. I haven't been over there. I said I'm going to look at it in the spring. I'm not going to stress it right now.
Did you remove the pressure?
There shouldn't have been much pressure on it at all because it was just that netting that was on it. I never pulled the thing over it. But I think it must have happened during that big storm where we got 4 foot in 2 days. I didn't check it.
It collapsed under 4 feet of snow?
Yeah.
Ugh. If ever it does break, I would look into temple structures.
I'm thinking if I replace it, I'm just going to do a frame.
Yeah.
A regular wood frame.
But regardless what you choose, you're going to have to remove the snow. That's like...
That's risk, baby.
Yeah, I have to remove my snow, not because of the structure, but because of the what do you call it? The plastic.
The plastic, yeah.
So when it gets warm during the summer, the plastic kind of like changes, like it bubbles up a little bit, and then when it gets cold, so it's hot within the greenhouse. Yeah. And then it's cold outside. So it creates like those pockets inside, and that's what can collapse.
Yeah. And I think part of it, we have not had actual sun here in the last week. It has been gray. I mean, I've seen peaks of blue sky. It has been gray and dark. For the first time, Patrick's in here. For the first time, my batteries last night, I was watching TV and my alarm started going off. I was down to 10 volts on my batteries. So I had to start the generator. It came right back up. When I shut the generator off before I went to bed, and it back up to well over 13. But
that's not fun.
And this is the month that, well, my nephew died last year. My wife died last year, all in this month. So I've been walking around singing, there ain't no sunshine when she's gone. Because there's no stinking sun.
Well, let's hope that you have some sun this week,
Yes.
this
I'm
coming up
happy.
week. Because you okay, so let's see what the people in the comments say. Does your week start on Sunday or does your week start on Monday? How do you see it? Because
Wow.
on a calendar, when you look at a calendar, the week starts, depending where the calendar was made, on a Sunday.
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's Monday. So when you talk to someone and you say next week and your Sunday, are you starting your week on Sunday or you're saying the Monday? I always wonder that. I know it's like completely stupid to wonder this, but it always puzzled me and tickled me.
Well,
Is it
I
Sunday
think
or Monday?
historically, the seventh day of the week has always been Saturday. That's what they call the Sabbath. And then Christians back in the early day, in the first century, would go to they would go to the temple or the synagogue and worship on Saturday, but then they would get together as Christians and worship on Sunday, which is the first day of the week biblically. But the work week, my work week has always been starting on Monday. Sunday is a relax. Who am I kidding? Every day is a relaxing day for me. But Sunday or Monday is when I say, okay, tomorrow I can get this done, this done, this done. You know.
Well, since I can remember, the workload always starts on Monday.
Yeah.
Because Sunday, you're supposed to enjoy the sun on Sunday. So it's supposed to be relaxing. Don't know what that means, but okay, let's see if anyone responded. Okay, so choose your battle. So I guess I'm not sure exactly. I think he was talking about the tunnel.
Did he say bottle or
no
Battle.
battle?
Choose your battle.
I think he is towards the high tunnel to leave it till the spring.
Yeah.
It was -6 last night. The greenhouse stayed at nice. No worries. I'm actually gonna go. I made a video I think 2 weeks ago that my back window of my high tunnel was open and I put a row cover and I haven't touched it, haven't opened the tunnel in 2 weeks, hoping it to recuperate because the temperature was like just above freezing, maybe like -2 Celsius. And I'm going to film to see if I was able to salvage some stuff. We'll see. But it's been raining like crazy all week.
Yeah, here too.
They say a lot of your brassicas, kale and stuff can come back if there's a warm spell, like an Indian, what do they call it?
Indian
Indian
summer
after
Yeah.
fall. Then they say a lot of times if you're not covered with snow, it can come back.
I know my Swiss chard is dead. And I had cauliflowers there, it's dead. But the one time I checked, the kale was bouncing back. And my sprouts of radishes were like a weird greenish, like lime color. They were not like what they were supposed, like the green they're supposed to. So that's why I decided, okay, I'm just gonna let it go, let them rest. And that was about a week, about half a week after that. So we'll see whatever survived, and I'll film and I'll show you guys this. But the back window is now closed. But my plastic is like very old in certain areas, so we found like holes in the front part, so we might have to cover the front part if we want to grow early in the season next year, or if we have like a unusual not cold winter and I'm able to grow there, but we'll see. It's a generator time for sure. Well, it's the December 21st is the shortest day of the year. So December is one of the worst months.
See, that's what you get for speaking French with Remy before the live. You're losing your English.
Yes. Well,
you're trying to translate in your head.
Yeah. Well, it's a never-ending battle for me. I I was raised in French, but all my friends were English. And when I started this channel, I wanted it to do in French because obviously I speak
Right.
French. So I wanted to address my message, my mission, and my passion to French viewers. But then when I started researching in French, there's almost nothing.
Yeah.
And whatever is available, you have to pay for it. And 5 years ago, I had to cut like quarters in 10, like I had to take a quarter and cut it in 10. And if I could have to like cut it in 12. So there's no way I was going to pay for any online courses. So I'm bilingual since the age of 5 years old. So I switched to English. And therefore, I found all the information I needed 5 years ago. And same thing today. If I'm looking for information today to share on my French channel, I have to search for it in English, translate it, and then like film myself. So when I film myself, I look like I'm losing my mind sometimes because I'm like, what's the word in French again? What's the word in French again?
Well,
So
your English is awesome. It really is. You and Remy, Marie-Hélène, you guys really do good for it not being your primary language. That just, when I found out that Remy was originally French speaking, that surprised me.
well, I have no accent in English, I was told. I have the Canadian French accent in English.
Yeah.
But if I spend an entire week speaking in English, I kind of lose that, like the little tiny accent I have. But in French, depending who I'm talking to, I have like the Quebec accent or the French Canadian accent. Depends who I'm talking to.
The same thing happened with Brigitte last year. Well, in May when I got there, because I'm so used to hear her speaking in English, right? And when I got there, she started speaking French. I'm like, okay, you're really a Quebecer. Like, you really have that Quebec accent. I'm like, she's like, yeah, I'm French. Yeah, I know, but still.
We have a lot of slang in Quebec.
Now, your husband doesn't speak English, right?
When I met him almost 15 years ago, he spoke all the bad words in English in like certain specific words. And he was hired where I work in the tech support to do whatever he does is in English only in Mississauga, Ontario. So he had to learn the technical words 15 years ago. So there was no Google Translate 15 years ago on your phone. Right. So he spent hours on the phone trying to understand. So he was thrown in the belly of the beast.
Right.
To learn the English language. But if it's not technical and it's like everyday life, he can't follow you. I don't know why. Like, he understands the very mechanical stuff, hydraulic stuff, reading. He does a little bit, like he does welding, electricity. He does mechanical stuff. He installs loading docks and all those things. And it's all in English. He can figure it out. But if I have an English conversation with him, he kind of looks at me like I'm a puzzle. He can't follow.
But he knows that he knows enough. You can't get away with swearing at him when you.
No. That he'll pick up. He'll pick up. But I think he suffers from a lack of confidence in himself when it comes to the English language. A lot of people, when they are exposed to the language for the first times, they are scared of their accent. They're scared to be laughed at because of their accent. And there's certain words that we pronounce differently that French Quebecers have a lot of trouble pronouncing. So we're all scared of being judged. But we all have to go through those phases to understand the language.
Yeah. Well, it's like when you guys are speaking French, I can pick out a few tidbits, but it's not like I've never heard a French person say "Comment allez-vous?" It's just smooth. It's smooth. It's "Comment allez-vous?" or something similar to it. You know what I'm saying?
Comment allez-vous? Comment allez-vous?
Yeah, it's just smooth and when I say it, it sounds like somebody's trying to cough up a hacksaw.
The irony is that if he goes to Scotland, Ireland, he can understand anyone speaking in English there.
Really?
Yeah.
Because there are Scottish people that I can't understand what they're saying.
I'm sorry, Scottish people, and I'm from Ireland. My dad has Ireland blood. When they speak to me, and Pakistanis, when they speak English, those three nationalities, I look at them, I'm like, what are you saying?
Right?
Like, I know you're speaking English, but I have no idea what you're saying. So it's interesting. It's interesting. So Dave says he is retired, so every day is the same. Okay, so work week is Monday, okay? So Joanne says, but we call that on the weekend. Yes. It's 4:50 a.m. here. Should I sleep? Not sure if this person is what I think, or is he being serious? Don't know. Here it's 6 o'clock, so we're not, and it's very dark outside, but it's not time to go to bed.
No, not yet.
Not yet. Well, I wish I would be able to sleep, but it's a little bit too early. So how was your week, Tracy, other than your tunnel collapsing?
I don't know. I've been doing all right. I've been I'm trying not to let Wendy's the anniversary of Wendy passing affect me, which is making it affect me. So then I try harder not to let it affect me, which makes it affect me more. So I've been a mess this last couple of weeks, but God is good and everything's on the homestead wise is going good.
I'm sure that December is not like all rainbows and daisies and sunshine. Are you planning on doing something for the memorial of your wife?
No. One of the reasons being is she passed on the 23rd and it's so close to Christmas.
Cats are acting up.
Oh my goodness.
Something broke.
Yeah, it broke. I'm not sure what it was. Oh,
hi Darren.
Hi Darren.
But yeah, she died on the 23rd, and I don't want it to mark Christmas for the grandkids and stuff. We do remember her when I go visit and all. It's like Colton. He was like right now he's like 19 months old, I think, and so he remembers her a little bit because I'll show him videos of her and pictures and stuff like that, and he you know, he doesn't say Mima, but
I like how he calls her
yes,
Mima. That's such an adorable name.
He was Mima and I was Papa.
Oh.
Well, I still am Papa, I hope.
Mima, that's so adorable.
Uh-oh, Kat, you woke Patrick up.
Uh-oh. Dave says Gaelic was spoken Ireland, Wales, and parts of France. I'm kind of like very rusted in like history things. I'm gonna trust your word on it.
Gaelic, the music is very beautiful.
I love it. I listen to it all the time. Like music from Ireland and all those places, like the instruments, the old instruments that they use. It's incredible. I'm thinking this is Darren. I'm going to say hi to Bridget as well, and I hope the gods were also smiling on you. Oh no, Patrick, you can't fall asleep.
Are we that boring?
That's what I was going to say. Are we that boring? So, did you start? I'm hoping there's no kids here. Did you start doing your shopping for the big little
day.
boxes, you know, with ribbons? No,
You're talking to me or to Tracy?
Tracy.
Oh, me? No, I do have a teenager that she said money's fine. Her mom's like, now Carly, and I said, no, Mom, that makes it easy on me. And then I got a 12-year-old, and she did give me a list. In fact, it's right here. I've got to hit that up. And then the younger two are both boys, and like I said, 19 months old. I could give him a pencil eraser and he'd love it. But I won't. I'll give him something nice. But anything to do with pew pews or tractors or anything like that, and my 7-year-old grandson will love it. So it's
Pew,
pretty.
those are trains.
No, the
Oh, right.
he's a
Be
marksman.
careful.
Yeah.
Okay, and what about you, Remy? Anything exciting happening at your house?
Well, I had my staff party on Friday night.
Yeah, and I heard you had a
It
incredible night
it finished
drinking.
around 3 a.m. on Saturday morning. I was
Holy.
I was up around 7:30. So yeah, it took me like yesterday and today to
That must have been like a
recuperate. But
gigantic hangover.
like I'm the kind of guy that if I drink like 6 beers, like I can feel it, and I don't drive after like 4. Like I'm not drunk, but I'm getting there.
Tipsy.
I decided to only bring 10 beers because I told myself if I bring more than 10 beers, I'm going to drink more than 10 beers, and then tomorrow's going to be awful. So let's limit, like, I'm going to put the limit to 10 beers.
That's a
But
lot.
when I got there, they had Jello shooters. I remember trying every color, and there was at least 4 colors. Then they made some sort of a little shooter
Those are
drink
dangerous.
with
Those are dangerous. Jello shots. They're very
maple
dangerous.
syrup, lime juice, and some sort of vodka or whatever. That was so good. Like I drank like
Okay,
10
so
of those.
let me get this straight. So you took beers, then you went with vodka shots, and then you went back to beer
No, it was all just
all at the same time,
yeah.
and
I
you weren't
finished the night.
sick.
I had no more beer in my cooler, and a colleague of mine told me, "Well, I have some more. I'll give you one."
God,
And I was at the point like, "Okay, sure."
I
And
probably
then
would be sleeping after all. I haven't drank that much in years.
I remember sourpuss shooters as well.
That's dangerous. That's also
Yeah,
dangerous. I was so sick on Saturday.
I
It was
don't
one
I
of
don't
the
even
only
understand
times
how
I
I was
was
not
sick
sick.
on sourpuss.
It was fun. From what I remember, it was fun.
What you
I
remember?
sang.
From what
I
he
sang. I
remembers.
remember everything. Yeah, I sang.
Uh-huh.
I danced. Well, if you can call it dance. I jumped a little bit. I don't know.
I have a visual right now.
Oh no.
Well, I remember a message, and we said, "Be careful, Remy's got a hangover." And Darren started screaming, typing in all caps. Must have killed you.
Well, I think at that point I was still drunk.
You must have been.
The next
so
morning I was still drunk.
what does Darren mean by this? Just remember, picks is different than pikeys. What do you mean by this, Darren? I know it's a joke, but
Well, it's not that often. And Jotham is asking, like he's saying, he doesn't understand. I remember anything, but I don't usually forget.
you don't usually forget.
It's not often that I forget. It was fun.
Well, at least you had a party.
Yeah.
This year, my husband has no Christmas. Well, actually, no. We were invited.
Okay.
It was in what do you call it? Niagara Falls. There's a hotel on top of Niagara Falls.
Mm-hmm.
So it was there, but like we would have to pay for like the entire weekend, like the Friday, the Saturday, and the Sunday, for someone to babysit our kids, we would have to drive 6 hours and a half to Niagara Falls. Probably our boss would have paid the gas and the hotel, but that's like just the babysitting of like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That probably like would have ripped a new one for me. So we decided not to go.
The department paid for local, the space. They paid for the band. The only thing they didn't pay for was for the lunch, because we decided to do a potluck. So everyone brings a little something. Usually we have those little lunch in the pharmacy during the day. We take an hour for lunch, but because of all the restrictions in the hospital, we are not allowed to do that. So that is kind of stupid at this point, because we can't do anything in the department. But 4 o'clock hit, everyone was together. I mean, no mask, obviously, and like one day we go back, we all have to wear a mask again in the department.
And I'm not going to say anything because we can go down that rabbit hole for a very long time.
It's just to show that for once we were actually able to do something. So we decided, we're not going to do like the big supper from a restaurant or something. We just want to have like fun and eat nacho dip and eat whatever this person usually does, and like the punch.
At least you had fun, and you had good food, you had good booze, a nice hangover. And good
it was a pharmacy party at the hospital, right?
It was not at the hospital, though.
It was not.
It was outside of the hospital. It was from the hospital, yeah.
Okay.
Like the pharmacy department in the hospital, we had a party somewhere else.
Okay, but did anybody, being pharmacy techs and stuff, did anybody get roofied and locked on the roof?
No.
No. Okay.
Not when I was there, and I'm one of the last one that left. No.
That you remember.
That would have been an interesting story.
Not so
just in case, I'm just going to read a little bit of the comments before we continue. English is a melting together of Gaelic and French and German. Ooh, interesting to know. So, yes, I guess you can say Remy got tipsy. I don't understand how you remember anything. Well, if I was maybe 10 years younger, I probably would have followed you. But I have a trick, and I can share it with anyone. My cousin taught me this trick, and she can follow anyone that wants to drink. And she's so small, so she can drink. So every time she drinks, she starts with, let's just say she starts with booze. She decides to start with beer, and then she goes to wine. She never goes back to beer. But every time she drinks a sip of whatever she's drinking, she drinks a sip of water. So a drink of the wine, the water, and she always walks around with 2 glasses. And you never find her crawling on the floor, and you never find her the next day with having a hangover.
She stays hydrated.
She stays hydrated because it's alcohol is very sugary, and it makes your liver completely craving for hydration. So I started doing that. Okay, I haven't partied in 10 years, so I kind of after a couple of beers, I probably would be on the ground, sleeping. But it's a good trick to have, not to have the when you go to bed, everything's turning, and the next morning that liver is dying effect. Okay, so I'm guessing this is Darren. I once made 1 liter of Vesper Martini for a friend who was playing James Bond for Halloween party. We drank it almost all, and before we got there, we... Thanks for sharing. Vodka and Coke is what caused me to miss a full... Oh, no!
I've had that happen too once.
I don't drink Coke, so I wouldn't know.
It wasn't vodka and Coke, but there was this one party where we had the opening band. I remember about the opening band, but the band that I was supposed to go see, I don't remember one single song they sang that night.
Oh no!
That's one of the 2 or 3 times that I actually forgot, but I was drinking like a pig that night. So
I just saw a comment of Dave. I'll read it after. Hello, Melissa. The only okay, there you are. The only drink that I take pop with is ginger ale and dark rum and lots of ice. And others is either whiskey on ice. I know it's sacrilege for some people to have whiskey on ice or scotch on ice, but I love the I'm gonna keep it clean. I love to like take the piece of ice and like enjoy the alcohol and the ice. I know Darren's gonna twist this, but
Always.
Remy didn't get a face tattoo like Mike Tyson. No, I'm not seeing any.
That would have been cool. It would have been a possibility, but we didn't have any tattoo artists there.
Yeah, you know, I asked for like tattoo artists in my area for the tattoo I want here, and I just learned that there's like 4 to 6 months delay. Like you have to put yourself on a list. I'm like, really?
It was a 1-year delay here in town.
Like, okay, so I guess I'll be patient. Oh, so he did get my joke. What'd you forget?
What I said
that's not
there.
for me. That's not for me. Oh, you represent with your merch.
Oh yeah, I got home just about 10 minutes before we started, and I had to get the fire going again. And it's a little chilly in here, but nothing broke out of all that clanging. It was from the cabinet in the island, and nothing broke. It was all glass bowls, but nothing broke.
You have to get yourself a lottery ticket now.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
My turn. So for my part, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, my daughter was still sick, very high fever. So sadly, I wasn't able to go to any of my meetings this week. I had to push back the meeting of my son at school. Thank God, tomorrow no one's sick. I'm supposed to go back again. So I'll meet the principal, the teachers, and all the specialists of my son. But like on Wednesday, I think it was on Wednesday, everyone went back to school. And it's been 3 weeks. Like 3 full weeks that I had someone at home all the time with me, like sick, like with fever. Every kid had between 5 and 6 days of high fever. And my son, my middle son, Philip, and my daughter, I actually got worried at one point because they were like delirious. Like the fever was like, as soon as the fever broke, it was fine. But 1 or 2 times my son started to like being delirious. And I was like, oh my God, like I can't wait for this fever to leave. And after I found out the first day that my daughter went back to school, someone told me that the virus going around, not the C virus, the other one, influenza, the flu, is now you can catch both at the same time. There's influenza and VP. What's it called, Remy? VP something? VPR, VPS?
Yeah, I don't remember the exact
RSV, I think, or something.
I know what it is.
Anyways, it's V something. It's like similar to the flu virus, but now they're merged together. What we got is probably both, because there's a lot of kids in the school. They're going to the pediatrician, and they're saying that they got the influenza, which is the flu, with that at the same time. And this is why, like, there's the fevers, or like some kids were like feverish for about 9 to 10 days. And the worst case in Quebec, we're having a hard time getting our hands on Tylenol and Advil. Like, I used up all my bottles, and now when I go to the pharmacy, there's nothing left.
Oh my goodness.
So I have to put myself on a waiting list or buy Tylenol. I don't like Tylenol when my kids are sick. I prefer Advil because like it lasts all night instead of like every 4 hours. But anyways,
for fevers and headaches when kids are sick, honestly, I mean, I am not a doctor, but willow bark, if you can get hold of willow bark, it has basically what the Tylenol does, I believe. Remy, tell me if I'm wrong, but it like thins the blood, so the blood cools down, gets to your extremities more. But willow bark is
I
where
would
they
have to
get
check if
acne from.
it's safe for the kids, because I know
Yeah,
there's certain herbal teas that certain age groups or weights
right.
cannot take. And I have like a 5, 6 years old, but he's big as a 7, almost 6, 7 years old. But my daughter is 10, but she's big as a 7-year-old. So I have to go. I always go by
Yeah,
weight and
yeah.
age, so I have to look into that. But like I'm now that I'm out of it, and they told me that I can get it back 2 weeks after. Knowing this, I'm gonna get myself prepared because we still have 2 weeks of school. Is it 2 weeks? We're the fourth. We still have 3 weeks of school. The kids finish on the 23rd.
But it
When I
shouldn't be as bad next time if you do get it
No,
again.
but like it doesn't matter. It's 5 to 6 days every single time. So my son's Philip that cannot miss school at all because he's already on the verge of flopping his ear. He misses 1 week of school every single time because he's feverish. And because you have fever, you have to keep him home, which is obvious. And if you're sick and you don't have fever, you're allowed to go to school, but you have to put your mask on for a certain period of time. I think it's 10 days. But as soon as you have fever, I have to keep him home. So that's like, I don't want my son to be sick because he's going to miss a week of school every time.
Right.
And like, he's in a position that he needs to succeed if he wants to go in second grade, or he's going to go to a specialized school. Not because he's needing it, but because he was missing a week. He got 1 week of COVID, 1 week of this virus, and let's just say there's still January, February, and March where there's a lot of viruses. So if he misses out another week or two, like, it's knowledge that he's gonna lose, and when his exam comes, he's gonna fail. And like, I just trying to put myself in his position. It just breaks my heart.
And they can't, because of the infrastructure that they discovered and created during the C thing, the C virus. They can't let him say, okay, he has a fever. We'll Zoom it, or we'll let him school at home for
because of his diagnosis. My son is ADH. What do you call it in English? TDAH.
ADHD.
Yeah.
Attention deficit with hyperactive disorder.
So he cannot, at home, he cannot sit in front of a computer. It won't work. I will have to be literally next to him and hold his hand because he needs to be stimulated all the time.
Yeah.
Like when they closed the schools and they were doing Zoom calls or team calls, it's platforms they were using. I had 3 kids plugged in front of like tablets, computers, or my phone, and the 2 of them needed me, but I couldn't leave my son Philip or he wouldn't listen to the teacher. So I know that when he's home, if he doesn't have a specialist calling him or Zooming him, like, that knows his weaknesses and knows his strengths, it won't work. So I can't do a Zoom call until I can figure out what triggers him positively. Like when you have that, when you have that, I don't like saying this word, disability, we need to find what triggers you to learn. So if, I don't know, I'm just saying something stupid right now. Let's just say that for him is jumping while he's listening to the teacher. Let's just say that. I know it sounds stupid, but let's just say that just jumping in class will make him listen to the teacher. But we haven't found that. Like, we don't know what triggers him to actually sit down and listen. But if he's not interested, he won't follow.
Yeah. I do that a lot. When I'm trying to learn something, I'll put like YouTube on, and then I will pace, and it's kind of I don't know, what it's a signal of, but because if I would have been brought up in this day and age, I would have been ADH severe hyperactivity.
Well, there's a lot of things that people think that they have that.
Yeah.
But it's just we're brought up to fit in the box.
Yeah.
If you don't fit in that box,
Yeah.
you have something wrong, and they want to diagnose you so that they can make you fit in that box.
Right.
But they don't understand. Once you're diagnosed, you still won't fit in that box. Regardless of any medication you're going to take, you won't fit in the box. You learn differently.
I was talking to somebody the other day on I think it was on a live stream about the Amish and how they only go to 8th grade, and as far as learning, and they have their own schools, but they only go to 8th grade and learn what they need to learn, but then they either go to an apprenticeship or they go home to learn from their parents.
What is 8th grade? Okay. Well, it's 3-4 years to graduation or normal.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Now there was a guy that was running for governor of New York that wanted to do away. He said 11th and 12th grade, which is our junior and senior year, are more for prepping you for college. He says, let's say at 10th grade, you have to decide, do you want to go to college or do you want to go into a trade? And then you can take that money that it would have cost you to prep you for college for those 2 years that the state allows for each student. You could take that and study in the field that you want to be in.
Become an apprentice.
Either become an apprentice or a trade school or something like that, because not everybody learns the same.
No. Well, when I studied tourism many years back, you were studying about for 18 months, which is like almost like an apprentice. It was not a college 3 years. It was 18 months. And after that, you were doing you were working in the field. And at one point you would get hired. Mm-hmm. So it's similar to that. But then I quickly realized after 18 months of apprenticeship, what I learned didn't matter. It only gave me 10 to 20% of what I needed to work in the field. Mm-hmm. Where I got my experience from is from being in the belly of the beast. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I have to figure it out. So being, let's just say 6 months, I ended up not staying in tourism because they wanted me to have experience, but wouldn't hire me to get experience. So I'm like, right. You want me to have experience, someone has to give me a chance. Yeah. But if my 6th last month of my education would have been in the belly of the beast, when I was ready to work, I would have had 12 months of education, 6 months of experience. Make all of that together, I would have been an apprentice because I would have had the base and I would have the knowledge enough to work in the field with someone.
My daughter, her last couple years of school, she would go to school. Maybe it was the last year, but I think it was the last couple. But she would go to the school till noon, and then she wanted to be a social worker and work with troubled kids. And then in the afternoon, she would drive to Utica and work with the House of the Good Shepherd for free, internship. When she got out of school, she then could work at the House of the Good Shepherd with them as she worked on to get her master's degree so that she could, she actually had experience by the time she left high school. She had some really wild experiences with some really troubled kids. So she didn't fall into that trap of having the learning but no experience. That's got to be bad.
Well, it's a slap in the face.
Yeah.
Because like everywhere I went, they wouldn't hire me. And then there's a place that told me I had too much passion, not enough experience. I'm like, well, are you serious? I'm too passionate. I've heard so many things. I'm too passionate, not enough experience, and I ended up when I stopped working, my last 10 years of working, I was not even in my field.
Yeah.
So because like when you study all these years and they think you're going to have experience, you won't. You only have 10 to 20% of the knowledge that you need.
No.
Okay, I'm a bit late on the comments. Let me catch up. Don't get drunk around Patrick. If you that should be funny. Patrick, do you tattoo? Is that you hobby off season getting tattoos? Well, I've been wanting a tattoo for a while, but I'm not sure yet. We just finished butchering completely, so we are headed to the hot tub. Enjoy! We are bringing you guys out with us. Interesting. Ooh la la.
It must be cold, though.
No, well, if it's like 90 degrees, 100 degrees, it must be comfortable.
Yeah, in the hot tub, but when you get out,
obviously. Okay, so it's in English, it's RSV. Okay, no suit needed. Ooh la la. This is becoming more and more interesting.
Yeah, I couldn't do that as cold as it is outside. Nope.
We need to wait. Where do the comments go? Okay, so Remy, you're on your way. Ooh-hoo! Get the kids drunk. Drug lately is crazy. Yeah. We need a live from hot tub, Darren. A live from the hot tub is coming soon. Speaking of tats, I'm always up for more ink. So if Patrick would do ink, that would be nice because Patrick's only 2 hours away from me.
Yeah, Patrick, start doing tattoos.
Yeah, and mine is so little and so small. It'd only take maybe an hour.
Well, mine, I want to have the full sleeve, but it's way too expensive right now. Like I have to put my money elsewhere.
Yeah, my husband has 2 sleeves. It was very, very, very expensive.
I have like this here.
Okay,
I only need and I have like up to here, so I still have from here to do.
Well, on one arm, he has my face here on top. Then he has it's hard to describe. It's lines. It's inspired from a Quebec artist. Like he has all these different lines here, and then it joins in with the names of everyone in our family. So there's all our children and my name. That's all in the bottom part of the tattoo. And then on the top of his here is leaves because we got married in autumn. On the other side, he has my face and he has a wedding vow all around his arm. How do you say aquarelle in English? It's a type of paint. It's like ocean colors type of paint. Water something, and he has like that all over his arm. It's crazy. Like, and then he tells me I want more. I'm like, I'm getting mine first.
Tracy's translating.
Aquarelle. Okay, let me see. Let me see if I can find in English.
He doesn't seem happy with the answer he got.
Aquarelle.
She said aquarelle, and so I told it to translate aquarelle, and it said aqua is water in Spanish.
Aquarelle. Hold on, let me find it.
Aquarelle.
Aquarelle.
Rel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Watercolor painting.
Oh, watercolor.
Yeah. But like
watercolor? He has watercolor on his arm?
Yeah, so you have the wedding vow that goes circling all around up till his mid arm here, and then he has an infinite 8 with 5 hearts representing the entire family, and then around the lettering there's like explosion of watercolor paint. That's the color
Oh,
of the
cool.
ocean. There's like blue,
Cool.
I think there's reds, there's yellows. My face that's painted is also in watercolor, and it's red, orange, yellow, and there's another color I forgot. So it's watercoloring, and it's the same artist that did both.
Cool.
I have one little eagle on my left arm come flying down through the clouds, and I don't show it off because people are always like, "So what is it?" I'm like, "It's an eagle coming down through the clouds, lightning, thunder."
He actually, his tattoo artist called him crazy because normally you're supposed to wait a certain amount of time before each session. So he started off with a smaller, like he has like this like a small tattoo here, and then he did most of the upper arm. Like he was going 5 hours at a time.
Oh my goodness.
The first, like his first sleeve, he wanted it done quick. I'm like, you're crazy. Like you need to heal. And he heals super fast that he was going like almost once every 10 days. And he was going for 3 to 5 hours at a time.
Nice.
I'm like, you're crazy. You're crazy.
If I had the money, I would probably do that too.
Well, that's why they say tattooing can become addictive, because pain, that hour or 5 hour bee sting can make your body release endorphins.
Yeah, probably.
And so it can actually be addictive.
Well, I think it was like a midlife crisis thing, because like he was like in his late 40s, early he got it 6 years ago. The first sleeve was 6 years ago, so mid 40s. So I always called it a midlife crisis. But then when he says I want the second arm, I'm like, you sure? Like you're sure you want to do this? And like it's my face, and it's not like this big. It's like from here to here. It's huge. Like sometimes like you want to talk to yourself. I'm like, okay. It's so I'm like, are you sure you want my entire face on your arm? There's like, yes. I'm like, okay.
Nice. As midlife crises go, it's cheaper than the Ferrari.
He hates sports cars. He loves pickup trucks. His dreams, one of his dreams, and I hope one day he can realize it, is to get those old Chevy, those old pickup truck.
Square box or the rounded
I think he wants the square one. I can't describe it. Some of them are like lower, some of them are higher.
Mm-hmm.
He wants one of those, but like buying one of those that actually works is probably like right now at the moment half of a house, maybe more. And buying one that doesn't run would be cheap, but then he probably would accumulate dust for the rest of our lives in the back of the field. But every time there's one in the village that has a modified lowered pickup truck Chevy, and he keeps saying, I want one, I want one, I want one. So he's not into sports car at all. Well,
that's good.
You must be worth I hope so. We've been married 11 years, so I hope
he must be something too. She's had 3 kids. And that he must be worth some pain too.
Well, the third was oops. It was not planned. We wanted 4 kids. But when we got married, I was in my prime, so I was 28 years old. He was 40. So we knew that we needed to have one after the other. And after having Philip, my second one, still not sleeping, like after the second, and we're still not sleeping after 3. And I thought I was pregnant of my 4th. Not to be mean, I was hoping to bleed. Like I was hoping to my periods to come in, like being blessed not to have a 4th one, because it's hectic to have 3 in a society made for 2 or 1.2. So I birthed my 3 children, 2 of them naturally, so no drugs. So that was I hope it was all worth it.
Absolutely.
I'm all in for an old truck. Government can shut it off, and it doesn't yell at me when I try to switch lanes. One of his pickup truck at work would ring when he would reach 119 kilometers per hour. So every time, like he would, no, it was 110, sorry. So every time he would go to 110 kilometers per hour, the truck would scream at him. It was like, come on, it's only 110. Well, now he's not allowed to drive 110 because he has a flatbed. So
my sister's got one of those cars that if you start drifting out of your lane a little bit or get too close to the line, it'll start beeping at you.
Yeah.
And I pulled over one day. I said, listen, either shut it off or I'm walking home. And I can walk home from here. I said, you can't.
I have a hard time with those. The only thing that I have on my car that's an alarm that I enjoy is when I back up, I have a sensor in the back of my car. If a child passes and it's like lower than my windshield, I will have a beeping sound. Yeah. That's the only alarm I tolerate on my car because that can actually save a life. Other than that, I don't want those little, I don't know how you call it, but in your side mirrors, you have those little alarms that tells you someone's near you, or you have the automatic parking or all of that. I'm sorry?
They're always on, those lights. There's always someone passing you, or you're always passing someone.
I find those are more distractive. I like when I drive and I see like those lights flashing, I get distracted by them because like they light and they flash. So like I look and I'm like, what is that? Like I don't have that on my car, so I have a 2015, an old car.
My thing is they've got if a car can stay in the lane, okay, then it has control of the steering wheel. And it has a computer that controls the steering wheel. Computers can be hacked. Just ask Lynn.
Yeah.
I don't want somebody else to be able to take control of my vehicle while I'm in it. No, thank you.
I just received my invoice for my insurance for my my SUV, and I'm like, why is my insurance going up? My car is older. Like technically, my insurance should be going down. So she's like, well, cars have more value now. So I'm like, okay, why? Why does my car have a higher value? It's a 2015. We're in 2023 very soon. And she's like, well, when you have an accident and you have to repair your side mirror, there's so many electronics in there. It costs so much to repair it. Well, I'm like, I have a base model. I don't have anything in my mirrors. I don't have any computers in my car. I have like a key and I have to start my car and I have to move my mirrors manually. And the only
horror.
The horror. Oh my God. And I have to press a button. Okay, wait. I have to press a button to open my windows. I think that's like minimal. Like you need to press a button so that 2 windows falls down. But other than that, like, there's nothing very interesting in my car making it worth more money. It's a base model. She's like, well, we can. I had like this conversation with her. I'm like, seriously, I'm paying more in insurance now in a 2015 than I paid for a brand new car when I was 25 years old.
They say every few years you should shop for different insurance.
I have to wait because it's I have a 18-month contract. As soon as that contract is finished, they did the same thing to my house. They upped the value of my house 20%. So I have to pay 20% more on my house evaluation. So I had, I think, $200 per year increase on my house insurance. And they're like, well, you live in the boons. I'm like, I know, but I have a wood shop a kilometer away from my house. So if I need anything or anything breaks, it's right there. It's a kilometer from my house. But he's like, no, you live in the boons. So if ever you burn down, it's going to cost more to build your house. I'm like, the wood shop is like a kilometer away from my house. But because I have a century-old home, there's only 2 companies that insures me. So I have to ask, I think it's 2 or 3 companies. I have to ask around here who they take. And there's certain companies that won't take 100-year-old homes.
See, here they came and the guy drove up. I think he stepped out of his car. He says, you got a wood stove? I said, yeah. He says, what do you got for electricity? I told him. He says, what are you looking to recoup if it were all to burn down, total loss? I said, with everything in it, I said 140 grand. He said, okay. He says, we'll get back to you. They insured me for 140 grand.
Well, I had 2 questions. I had that question. I had to evaluate all my belongings, like TV, fridge, stove, clothes, shoes. Like, if tomorrow morning the house burned down to the ground, there was nothing left. Like jewelry, prized possession, obviously photos are not valuable. So I had to come up with a number for that. And then there's someone that came here and evaluated my house because it was 100 years old. Someone came here and went in like my attic, my basement, everywhere around the house because they wanted to make sure there was not those old electrical conduits and there was no copper. Yeah. So after that, they came up with this number and they said, well, we have to insure your house twice your value. I'm like, oh my God. So I have to shop around.
Oh no.
What are you talking about? I hate getting rentals. They all scream at me. What rentals? What did I miss? Mine is costing me money now after 19 years. I had to put my foot in to keep up with Tesla. You have a Tesla, Dave? I love my truck because the cruise control doesn't adjust speed. If I set it at 119, it stays at 119, not like those new ones. Yes! Mine, when I set my cruise control at 115, it stays there. Yeah, I have like the I have a key, but there's a input. What is input?
Chip.
There's a chip in mine, so there's a chip in my wheel and there's a chip in my key, and I like both of them have to be there for the car to start. Hello and good evening from the UK, London. Don't know how we have. Is that your phone, Stacy?
Yeah, I'm converting kilometers to hours. 71, you speed demons. I could lose my license for driving that.
Don't know if we have stumbled up on your channel while looking for holiday destination. Well, sorry. This is a homesteading channel. I hope you find a good destination. Call Bridget at work. She does. Seriously? I will. As soon as my contract is finished. Uh,
I should give her a call too. Maybe she can do something for me here in New Brunswick. Everything is so expensive. It's crazy.
Everyone's saying hello. If everything burned down, could I still have my truck back? Well, if the truck is completely burned, I'm not sure.
I usually don't park the truck in the house just for that reason.
Rental cars. I used to rent cars. It's hectic. I would burst the kilometers and they would yell at me. They wouldn't be happy. I rented my first car I bought, which is an old car. My second car was a rental, which was a Hyundai GSI. And then I had the love of my life as a car was a Volkswagen Golf. It was my first real manual car. I love that car. God, I miss that car. But then I was told, you can't have a manual car when you have kids, la, la, la. So I bought myself like the first SUV and then I became a soccer mom. But I miss my Volkswagen Golf. God, it was a beautiful car. So where are you all from? I am from Canada, Quebec, province of Quebec. Here is mainly homesteading, lifestyle videos, cooking, baking, farming, and on small lands. On Tracy's channel, it's similar content, but with the off-grid flavor in being a solo person on a homestead. As for Remy, Tracy's in the United States, and Remy is also in Canada, and you're a big family homestead.
Yep.
I hope that makes a good resume. Wow, Canada, yes! Where people think we live in igloos. That makes me laugh so much. You live in Canada in the igloos? I put 50,000 kilometers on a rental. Holy! In one trip? I wood stove, fill, and set off painkillers swallowed. I'm done for the night. Oh, okay. I was wondering what he was getting at.
We'll feel better with the painkillers.
I hope you feel better. What's a corn dog? I have no idea what a corn dog is.
Oh my gosh.
I know. I'm so sorry. Remember.
It is like a hot dog on a popsicle stick,
Oh.
wrapped in a cornbread batter.
Okay.
And you heat it up and you put mustard. Oh my God.
Oh no, we call it something different here.
Pogo.
We call it pogos.
Pogo. Okay. Because I was going to have to say I'm going to have to smuggle some up when I come up in there.
So it's pogos. And you have it with either ketchup or mustard.
Oh, Tracy, you don't need to bring anything up. If you go visit Angie and Mike,
the lasagna.
The lasagna.
I was watching a video from Adrenaline Junkie Prod, their ATV UTV thing, and his girlfriend she had lasagna for the first time the other day. Never had lasagna. She's from Ukraine, but still, that's just wrong, man.
Well, it is very, very long to make.
Yeah.
And you need a lot of sauce to make a lasagna. Yeah. I normally use, for a family of 5, 1 quart jar of sauce for, like, it gives me my main meal, and it gives me like a couple of meals for the kids for school, and maybe 1 meal for me the next day, like for lunch. But a lasagna, I probably would need 2 to 3 quarts of sauce. It's a lot of sauce, and that's a lot of meat.
See, I always thought it was easy. I just unwrap it, put it in the microwave, and...
Well, those are the pre-made ones. I make my... there's...
chemicals.
there's one that I love to make. One of my friends taught me how to do it. It's cottage cheese. Is that it? No.
Mm-hmm.
Is it cottage cheese? I think so. So she would put like 3 cheese. So she would put the mozzarella, cottage cheese, and Parmesan cheese.
Oh wow!
Oh, it's like num num num.
I love ricotta.
Was
Wendy,
it ricotta or cottage cheese? I don't remember.
Well, they're kind of into. Some people use cottage cheese and some people use ricotta, but I bought some ricotta and I made stuffed shells while Wendy was in the hospital, and because I didn't want her to know I could cook, and but I filled it with the ricotta and it tasted bleh. Apparently, she laughed at me when I told her about it. She says, "Yeah, I put seasonings in the ricotta." She says, "You don't just take the ricotta out of the thing and put it in the shells. You got to season it."
Obviously.
I didn't know that.
On the internet, Horseman, I hope I'm saying your name right, Hatton, there is a lot of recipes for the batter. I know there's some people that do it with corn, some people do it with regular flour, but it's definitely a deep fried.
Yeah.
Corn dogs are not the healthiest food, but they're most delicious comfort food. Well, Darren, it is a lot of meat. Like, I don't raise my own chickens. I mean, my own pork and my own beef. So, meat for me is like, it's almost like anything I have to buy at the store. I'm always very careful of the amount I eat. So I make sure that what I stored in the fall lasts at least 9 months. And I don't have I think you butchered an entire beef this year, or was it 2? I forgot. And my wife wants to know, is Deep South like a film called Deliverance, or are they called hillbillies who are all okay? This I don't know what to answer.
Okay. There are some some people in the Deep South live like the movie Deliverance. Some people are called hillbillies, but not many of them that I would call them that to their face, because it can be taken negatively. But yeah, we're basically, I think we're all pretty much country folk. I mean, I'm in upstate New York, but I had experience with down south. I was born in Florida, but yeah, like you get into Appalachia and some of the towns in Virginia, West Virginia, and the Smoky Mountains and such, and you can get to the people who have never been in a Walmart and they can be like Deliverance. They have their
another
own
movie I don't know.
Burt Reynolds and Deliverance, and there's one called Southern Comfort that is a real old movie. It's color and everything. It's got some really big actors in it, but it's a really Southern Comfort and Deliverance.
Southern Comfort, isn't that a
whiskey?
An alcohol?
Yes. Ooh. But it's about some guys in the National Guard, a platoon in the National Guard on their weekend training. They get stuck in the bayou and they steal some hillbilly boats and they get in a serious mess.
We have hillbillies up here in the northern Quebec as well. Don't go too far into the bush hunting. Well, I wanted to do a part 2 of last week's live, and I have about 20 minutes left. I wanted to talk about motivation again this week, but I guess we're just gonna go with the flow and keep on doing what we're doing.
There was no motivation tonight.
Well, I wanted to actually make a parenthesis, last week I did talk about me not leaving the house. And Tracy said agoraphobia. Is that how you call it, Tracy?
Agoraphobia, yeah.
Agoraphobia. And the day that I was supposed to leave my house, I had to talk to Remy and my husband and Annie from Mama Homemade. And I needed motivation to leave my house, like to actually leave my house. And it took every ounce of me to actually leave the house. So I don't think that I fear leaving my house, but since I don't leave it as much, I'm kind of dancing dangerously on the line. So I wanted a little bit to talk about that.
Yeah, be careful with that, because it's a real thing where you're just so comfortable at home, and us as homesteaders, our lifestyle, part of the reason we choose this lifestyle, some of us, is that we're aware of the stuff that goes on in the cities and in the world, and so it's real easy to talk ourselves out of wanting to be part of that. And so just be careful. Have your husband take you to the mall, to the theater or something, and watch a movie, so that
I need a babysitter.
I'll babysit. Just drop him off.
Right, I'll be on the next plane. We have no passports. That should be interesting.
I got to get mine too. Well, my license.
Don't wait too long to get your passport.
No, I think I'll start working on it tomorrow. Well, it's going to be.
I can't remember who told me they were getting a passport, and they told me the amount of delay was doubled.
Yeah, I'm not going for the passport. I'm going for the enhanced driver's license.
Driver's license, yeah. Well, I was told that in July the waiting time was doubled. So if it was 3 to 6 months, it was 6 months. It was at least 6 months to get the passport.
Okay.
I wouldn't wait, especially it's in May.
Yeah.
I watched a documentary on here called Wicketers. One of the hillbillies even barked like a dog to communicate. Oh my god. Squeal like a piggy. Yes, Dor, that what he said, something like that. Squeal like a piggy. What the bloody hell are these people doing? Well, some people around the world are weird. I've told Karen we are not going to visit Deep South. Well, Deep South has beautiful things to visit. New Orleans is beautiful. Baton Rouge is on my bucket list. I really want to go visit. Like, I have to be careful when I go to visit. I know there's a lot of festivities there. There's a lot of people that goes through Baton Rouge and New Orleans, but it's beautiful. And Texas also has beautiful things to see. Food in Texas must be delicious. Like I see steaks in Texas. I'm like, num, num, num.
There's just beauty beyond the moss in the trees. When you get down into the south, you get the Spanish moss hanging out of the oak trees. It is just so beautiful. But you don't have to go into the back hill. Most times, if you run into problems with what you're talking about are the hillbillies that remove themselves from society, and over the years they kind of married to their cousins and closer, and they're just weird from what we see,
Well, they're usually off the grid also.
Yeah.
So they're not in big cities. They're always remote.
They have their own laws, their own way of life. The Cajuns in Louisiana and stuff, they have their own language. It's really, but it's really beautiful. Don't be afraid. Just don't go on too far on any back roads.
True. Kimmy, you're awfully quiet.
Well, you guys are talking, and every time I like, okay, I'm gonna intervene and say something, it's like you change the subject. So I'm just like, okay, whatever.
Well, go like this.
That's all right. It's fun to listen. I just want to add, like you were talking about passports. From what I understand here in Canada, for the moment being anyway, they won't do your passport or they won't accept your application unless you have a trip planned. And then you have like you need to show your destination and all your information, and then maybe they'll have time to do it on time.
See
So
that?
like my boss was leaving, I think it was at some point in the summer. She had to call them to like, okay, I want to renew my passport, like, and they're like, you need to have your plane tickets purchased already. She's like, I have that. Okay, well, we're probably going to be able to do it on time. So she was going to take the plane in Montreal. So she left from here, which is 8 hours away. She had to stop in Quebec to try to get her passport so that she could go to Montreal, take the plane, and go on vacation. So it was just like a boom, boom, boom. If one thing didn't go according to plan, her whole trip was off. So it's kind of crazy when you think about it because you need to have your passport to travel, but you also need to have your ticket in order to apply for the passport. That was just insane because it was just a matter of
Well,
like
isn't
you
that
need to be here.
international?
Well, I don't know how it works in other countries, but I know your
But
passport.
I mean, because technically, okay, I'm going to say technically because I don't want to put my foot in my mouth. When we cross the border, US Canada, technically, you do not require a passport.
I think that we're going in Mexico or Cuba.
So I don't know what laws changed. Obviously, there's so much that changed within the last 2 years. All I know is every time I talked to someone that was traveling, they always told me to like, if you want to travel, like don't wait 1 or 2 months before, like do it now if you want to travel like this summer. But like he won't have any plane tickets, he's driving.
Yeah, no, Tracy will be fine.
I
If he
yeah.
doesn't need a passport,
And
it should be fine.
quite honestly, if they were to ask me, "Oh, where are you planning to go? What's your travel itinerary?" I'd say, "Oh, I'm going to Nunya in the town of Business."
Mind your
And
business.
yeah, and I'm going to stay for who cares? None of yours, none of your business.
Well, we have to be polite. So we have to be very polite. When I was working in tourism, if there's one person you have to be very, 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 very polite with, it's the security.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Now when I'm crossing the border,
You
if
have to
they
be like
ask me where I'm
polite.
going, I will, because being a soldier, I'm used to basically, if you give any authorities a problem and it gets back to your company commander, then you have a problem. So I'll tell them, listen, I'm going to the Northeast or to the Eastern Ontario Homesteading Conference for pleasure reasons and to meet some friends, and and I always thought that Canadians were like the most politest people in the world. Then I met Darren, and I love you, Darren.
Well, I've only crossed the border a couple of times, so maybe less than 20 times. And the last time was when I crossed like official borders, was when I went to Cancun. So that was 11 years ago. So
Wow.
many, many, many things has changed since then.
Yeah.
I don't want to miss any comments. Yes, exactly. And they have 3 teeth between. Dentists don't exist. Freaking Cajun. There is a number of documentaries on Appalachia, and they are very interesting. Well, there's not only like the bad things. I'm sure there's good things.
Right.
A lot of them moved to the area for mining, mill work, etc. They got screwed over big time. Well, from what my understanding, those types, I don't want to say people, but those types of villages or communities are built on lack of, like, they started losing trust on authorities or government or laws or whatever, and it goes back generations over generations over generations, and it's a little bit like the Amish building a community. And like they have their own ways of life. Not that it's bad.
No.
Dentists should be required, but that's another story.
Yeah, we always said what's a quarter mile long and has 3 teeth. Well, it's the line at the beer tent at the Port Leyden Field Days.
Take a look at the Whitaker's family on YouTube. I stopped looking at our holiday traveling around Deep South after watching it. I don't know who that family is. Others later in life were born into poverty due to lack of work. Yes, there's a lot of sad stories out there for sure.
There were whole communities that they had thriving businesses. Some of them were even mining towns, and the government came in, and because so many palms were greased with money and stuff, the government came in, flooded entire valleys, and they basically told the people, on this day, your house will be underwater. You need to leave now. Mm-hmm. And it was just so crooked. Those people got the shaft, and that's one of the reasons they don't trust the government.
Yeah, there's so many stories like this, like all over time. Now, 50 years ago, 100 years ago, it's filled with sad stories like that. That sadly is part of our history and created traditions, and some made it to our books, some probably will never, some are forgotten, sadly, but it is part of our history. I did forget one thing. Sorry, I just had like a thought like that. Congratulations on your 600 subscribers, Tracy.
Oh, you thank
hit
you.
600 last week?
I think it was late November. Or wait, no. I guess it was last week, but I'm already up to, I think it's 661.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
That little fight you had there probably helped you. Not fight, but
I got a shout out without having a shout out, man. It was awesome. I knew who he was talking about. I'm famous. Nobody knows it, but I'm famous.
Officially, you are at 617.
617. Okay. Why did I think it was 617?
Hi, Chris and Steph.
Hi, Chris. Oh God, I was like, blah, blah, blah. Hi, Chris and Steph. Whoo! My tongue got tied there. Yeah. Well, from what I'm seeing on YouTube, it's 617.
Okay, maybe it was 616. I inverted the.
Ew. Well, it's still good.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I appreciate every single one of them.
Take a look. Okay, some of the docks include soft white underbellies. Not sure what he meant. Karen says you are very friendly, happy people, and pleased to say hi. I guess this is hi. Hi to you all, not hit to you all. Hi, I hope it means hi. If you have a second, but people that are still watching, can you hit that thumbs up? That helps me a lot. I'm not your average Canadian. No.
Who was it? It was Angie. I've been friends, really good friends with you guys for over a year now. And it was Angie a few months ago when they started back up. She was the first time I heard that stereotypical A at the end of a sentence. Because I always thought Canadians walked around saying, "Hey, let's go bowling, eh? You know, let's go to the cook-off, eh?" I
Well,
always
her
thought,
husband is American.
oh, okay, but she said, "Hey." It was the first time, and
Well, I assume he's American because he has family in Michigan.
yeah,
Mike is American.
That's what I thought.
I know I do it sometimes when I speak, but it's only because I'm French and I never know how to end my sentences. Hey?
Okay, I missed a couple of people. Hi, Lynn. The snow plowing video are putting Tracy over the top. Keep them coming.
if I get snow, just been raining.
My in-laws says hi. Oh, hi. No, she's saying our in-laws says at the end of the phrase. I think that's what she meant. We are fascinated with the USA. Such a fantastic place. Karen wants to go to San Francisco. That's a beautiful, the bridge and all of that. The infrastructure there, the buildings. I heard is it there? There's food trucks.
Oh yeah, there are food trucks all over the place. Depending on the city you're in. The thing is San Francisco right now is undergoing because of the weather and because it's so beautiful and the government is so permissive, the homeless population has really gotten bad. So just just enjoy yourself. It's beautiful. It really is.
Ironically, as a Canadian, I want to go visit Europe.
Yeah.
And he's in Europe. Well, not Europe, but on top of Europe. And he wants to come here.
Well, that's the thing. You want to discover the world. I would love to go to countries like Slovenia and, visit the old castles and stuff like that. That would be my dream. But I'm not really
That's why I studied tourism. I studied tourism to be able to go in tours in France. And I wanted to go in London, Ireland. I wanted to visit all the castles of Ireland and all of that, but my dream got smashed really. As soon as my dream started, I was like studying Ireland, studying all the European countries and tourism there. My dream came crashing down quite fast.
Yeah. Could you imagine? I mean, around in the States here, I don't know how it is in Canada, but if you find a house or a building that is 200 years old, that is old. You go to Europe and you're going to castles that are hotels that are 700 years old, 600 years old. It's amazing.
Well, that's what fun is like. I'm intrigued by it. Here, a house can barely stand about 100 to 200 years old. My house is 105 years old, and I have no complication because it was maintained. But if you let go a house here that's 5 years old for 200 years, it probably will crawl, fall down within maybe 50 years. Maybe. But then in Europe, they're built super strong and they do fall apart for sure. But some of them are 500-600 years old and the foundations are still there.
Yeah. They're still letting tourists come in and stay the night and stuff in some of the castles.
Well, those are maintained. Those are the ones that were maintained in Are you having issues with your dog?
Yeah, I don't know what she's having tonight. She
wants attention.
She doesn't like me that much.
So I find it weird that here we can't construct or include those styles in our buildings to make them stand for 500-600 years old.
Well, we haven't been on this continent. The indigenous peoples may have been, the what we call them used to call them Indians, I guess, indigenous populations now. And they were more, they travel around.
Yeah.
So they didn't build permanent structures
No.
so much. And we only the Europeans we're descending from the Europeans who only got here like 200 years ago, 300 years ago. And Horseman, I'll tell you, stay away from any big city unless you research it good. New York City is not a place to go. If you want to see America, find the smaller towns and cities.
Vermont is beautiful.
Vermont is gorgeous.
Pittsburgh is amazing.
I went in Vermont many times as a teen. It's beautiful.
In New York, the Adirondack Park, the towns that are in the Adirondack State Park are beautiful and friendly. And we don't have those type of hillbillies that I know of.
I'm just going to read the comments. I just saw the time, and then I'll let you guys go. I looked at Long Island on here and ended up on a live crime chat channel about someone called the Long Island serial killer. Okay, that must have been interesting in a weird way. Yeah, bad luck charm. Ireland is definitely on my bucket list. I know the weather is crap. Like most of the year, the weather's crap.
But it's so green.
Yeah, it's so lush. But
it's beautiful.
Steph talks about that all the time. We look at barn or house that's been around for 100 years more, and it looks like it's in ruins. And yet in Europe, it looks like 500 years old. Yeah, Dublin is very nice. I studied Ireland like crazy, and oh, the dog really wants you. I stayed in a castle on the Rhine in Germany. Crazy, awesome experience. Germany is so underrated tourism-wise. Yeah. Obviously, there's a lot of people that don't want to talk about Germany because of the choices they made over the years, but there are so many beautiful places to go.
We went on tours of monasteries when I was stationed there. Tours of monasteries and castles that were just so beautiful, and the people were really fun, especially once you got them slightly intoxicated. We had a lot of fun.
Wait, you have the dog and you have the cat, and I'm alone.
Well, she wants me to go upstairs with her for some reason. I don't know.
There are two ways to build stuff: through super strong or more replaceable, and not the modern replaceable way they built new houses. Now they have to build houses like quick. Come on, chop. Tomorrow ain't to be done. So Vermont, yes, it is nice. I've never been to Maine other than lodging when I was no, it was New Jersey. Never mind. Never been to Maine. Writing these down. Also, most old roads and buildings weren't built to survive. -20, -30. True. If you are going to Ireland, Southern Ireland is very nice, very rural, and the Guinness is the best around. Obviously, if I go to Ireland, I have to drink like local beer. I've never, when I was studying tourism, I did not cover anything on Iceland and Greenland, but you've posted so many pictures about it. I'm curious about it. I don't care. I will pack my rain boots and raincoat, but I want to go little town in Ireland. Germany is one of David's favorite places. He says he has never met nicer people. You can cross over to England on the ferry. Yeah, that ferry, my husband was on it and he was sick throughout the entire trip when he was going to visit his family in London. Yeah, they got names backwards on Iceland and Greenland. Guys, the kids downstairs are like beyond crazy right now. Thank you everyone for popping in. It was really nice chatting with you. I know I was off subject, but it was super interesting tonight and I really enjoyed it. I hope everyone has a blessed week. Sunny, not too warm, not too cold, and beautiful weather. And send you love. Bye everyone.
See you later. Thanks
for having us.